sales tax in the borough, I think that it's not running past. I don't like the sales tax personally. I do find it harmful to people of low income, disability, and elderly. They simply do not have 2.5 more pennies to pay, and they have no source to replace their money. They are fixed, and it's hard for us that work and are capable to take up a little extra work to really realize there are people in our community, and we are the whole community, that cannot pay that. Plus the other factor is the cost of implementation, and it's a little too much. The 4.9, I do support that. I think it's a good compromise. We got 20% for the homeowners. We have other sources to make up the $1 million shortfall in the city without impacting any one group. Diversify our revenue stream as we're asked to do. And so I would support 4.9 and definitely do not support a sales tax.
All the mayoral candidates agree on this issue, both issues, and I do as well. But I do want to remind folks, we have, so kind of to your question, the next 5 years, we have a census in 2010. By 2012, we'll have one less representative in Fairbanks. Our access to funding is even more difficult than it is right now. Today, we're 19.7% below average on wages and general population here in Anchorage. We're negative. So every time you have one of these taxes pop up and you have those deficits to start with, you're just going down further down the path of difficulty for the citizens. So we've got to look at additional sources of revenue. I think we're using Title 29 and looking for exemptions to the exemptions that many of the state-owned corporations now have. We might be able to find some additional funds. And generally speaking, if we have the 4.9 tax cap in place, we'll have about $1 million to make up, but we'll be able to do that.
Clarence, I've been a homeowner here, and I felt my property taxes were too high. And frankly, I get paid okay. But, for lower income people, it's a real problem. But the main problem hasn't been the city property tax, it's been that plus the borough added on. So you're, 3 times the mill rate. And unfortunately, my opponent is one who spearheaded that proposition last October to cut city property taxes by 95%. I was taking, a sledgehammer to a mosquito. It was ill-conceived. And our current mayor, I understand, was the first one to sign the petition. So it's a bit ironic. 4.9 is a reasonable rate. I've been talking about revenue diversification for 4 or 5 years. We need to continue to look for other sources to lower the property tax. But right now, the Proposition A is a good interim measure. The borough sales tax, as has been said, does nothing for the city. The city doesn't get any revenue off there at all. And so I'm not in favor of it. It's regressive, as I said. It costs a lot to collect and administer. It's going to be less money overall to work with at the end of the day. Thank you.
Well, I run for the city, and I 150% disagree with the mayor and everybody that says that 4.9 middle rate is a compromise. It's a good compromise. It is not a compromise. It's a business as it was done before, only worse, because the ceiling is now for the permanent, so-called permanent ceiling of 4.9 mil. And that means the vacant land owner is substituted more than ever before for holding on to land. And this is a crime. I mean, the whole thing is just criminal, what you're saying, because your double taxation continues at a worse pace after your 4.9 mil is in than it is now. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. This is what your 4.9 mil does. Nothing else. It's a crime. And the thing came out yesterday in a newspaper. There is no way that anybody could have an opposing view to that printed in the paper, because it was 11 o'clock the deadline for putting a thing in there. And there's only one paper, and the paper is right in front of it, and they are pushing this thing, and the majority of the people have no idea what's going on. I repeat, vote no on that Proposition A. There is no problem, because there is plenty of time to come up with another vote and bring the proper exemption in.
Thank you.
Now, thank you.